Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Touch. I'm Darwin Campbell. Morning Touch is brought to you by the FSBC in Glendale. We are interested in encouraging you spiritually to be stronger in times like these. We all need a positive word of hope and encouragement. If you like what we say, please subscribe to the channel. Push that button on the right hand side. This morning we want to come to you from the book of Exodus. I'm going to read Exodus chapter 2, verses 23 through 24. The Bible says, after a long time, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned because of their difficult labor, and they cried out, and their cry for help ascended to God because of their difficult labor. So God heard their groanings, and he remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God saw the Israelites, and he took notice. God saw the Israelites, and he took notice. This is a time where the children of Israel are in bondage. They had been in bondage just after the time that Joseph had died in Egypt. And when you look at Exodus chapter 1, we see a king rose in the land that didn't know Joseph. And the number one thing they wanted to do out of fear was to oppress the Israelites. So the Egyptians assigned taskmasters over the Israelites and oppressed them with forced labor and made them build cities and made them build supply cities for Pharaoh. The Bible says that they worked the Israelites ruthlessly. They made their lives bitter in labor, in brick and mortar and all kinds of field work they imposed upon them in Exodus chapter 1. Years and years and years of this ruthless taskmaster slavery caused them to cry out to the Lord for relief. The Lord had promised a deliverer. That deliverer was to be Moses. Moses had come to rescue the children of Israel. But before getting there, the whole thing seemed hopeless. You know, in times of trouble, it seems like trouble never ends. You know, my grandmother used to say, trouble don't last always. But when you're going through that trouble, it seems like always never comes. Similar to what we're going through with COVID-19, unemployment, the pressure of bills, the pressure on marriages and relationships. It's phenomenal, unprecedented. From New York to California, every region of our country is affected. And it seems like the Israelites crying out to God for relief from the taskmasters of Egypt, from the slave owners, from the gruesome long hours of work and toil with no relief, pain consistently, evil all around them, mistreatment. The Bible says that God heard the cry because of their oppressors. That God said, I know what you're going through, and I will keep my promise to the Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob's descendants. You know, God hears us too. It seems like we are under pressure. We are being suppressed. We're being held back. And it seems like there's no end to this pandemic and the crisis and the associated anxieties and worries surrounding it. But like the Israelites, we cry out and cry up to God. He hears us too. Tough life, God listens. Tough times, God listens. whether it's COVID-19, unemployment, political unrest, uncertain future, problems in your marriage, whatever is going on, God hears you. God listens. God knows. And God cares. Like the Israelites, He will not leave you alone to go through this. The Israelites suffered for 400 years in slavery and bondage, mistreatment, going through night after night of anxiety and prayer and trouble and complaints and problems. But the Bible says God heard their cries for help. He saw their difficult labor and He understood. You know, that's something that we have to come to grips with as we walk through our challenges in life, as we deal with the things that we are undergoing now with COVID-19 and the pandemic, the political unrest, the anxiety, and the worry. We too must fall back on the prayers that we've lifted up to God, knowing that He hears us, knowing that He cares, knowing that God is going to do something about it. He hasn't left us or forsaken us. We must be faithful, consistent, and trust His plan. I'm reminded of two verses in Psalms that I'll leave with you today. One comes from Psalms chapter 32 and verse 7. It says, "You are a hiding place for me. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with shouts of deliverance." And then Psalms chapter 72, verses 12 through 14. The Bible says there, "For He delivers the needy when He calls, the poor with Him who has no helper. He has pity on the weak and the needy, and saves the lives of the needy. From oppression and violence He redeems their life, and precious blood is precious in His sight." You know, we can have hope today that no matter where you are, what state you're in, what you're going through, the Israelites endured 400 years of bondage and God rescued them. We have been inconvenienced just a few months, and I know it seems like ages, but God knows what we're going through. God listens, God cares, and He calls upon you to be faithful and consistent and to trust His plan. And I hope, trust, and pray that you're encouraged that God is here. He hears you. He listens. He cares. The Morning Touch is brought to you by the FSBC in Glendale. I hope that you've been encouraged today to know that God is in our presence. He's going to help you through this. Keep a smile on your face. Keep your head up. Be faithful, persistent, and trust His plan.